How to value your poker hands on dry board textures. Have you ever wondered how to assess your poker hands when the board texture is dry? Understanding this concept can significantly improve your game. A dry board refers to a flop where the community cards are uncoordinated, meaning there are few or no straight or flush draw possibilities. For example, a flop showing king, 7, and 2 is considered dry. These boards are less likely to connect with your opponent's hands, making strong hands more valuable. When you find yourself on a dry board, your value hands, such as top pair with a good kicker or an overpair, tend to hold more strength compared to your opponent's ranges. The lack of coordinated cards means that it is less likely your opponents have made strong draws or hidden strong hands. This is where you can assign higher value to your made hands and play them more aggressively. One key point to remember is relative strength. On dry boards, your top pair or better is often ahead of your opponent's range. Hands that may seem marginal on wet boards gain more value here. This means you can confidently bet your strong hands without worrying too much about being outdrawn. Dry boards also present excellent bluffing opportunities. Since your opponents are less likely to have connected well, you can use continuation betting as a bluff more effectively. This allows you to widen your betting range, including bluffs, since the board texture favors the player who was aggressive before the flop. Consider your opponent's range carefully. The player who raised before the flop typically has a stronger range that connects well with dry boards. On the other hand, players who called are less likely to have hit the flop, making your value hands more likely to be the best. When it comes to bet sizing, you can often use smaller bet sizes for value bets on dry boards. The texture itself discourages opponents from calling without strong hands. This means you can extract value from your strong holdings without risking too much. Another aspect to think about is hand vulnerability. Since draws are scarce on dry boards, your hands are less likely to be outdrawn. This allows you to value bet more confidently, as you do not need to worry about giving free cards that could complete draws. Lastly, adjust your strategy based on your opponent's tendencies. If you are up against tight players who tend to fold often on dry boards, you can increase your bluff frequency. Conversely, if you are playing against loose players who call more frequently, focus on value betting your strong hands. In practical terms, when facing a dry flop, value bet your strong made hands aggressively. Use continuation bets liberally, both as value bets and bluffs. Be cautious about slow playing since the dry board texture favors aggression. Recognize that marginal hands gain relative strength, but avoid overvaluing weak pairs or draws that do not exist. By understanding these factors, you can better assess the strength of your hand relative to the board and your opponent's likely holdings. This will help you maximize value and minimize losses on dry board textures.